Before the circus of modern F1 arrived, before the grid lights, the sponsors, the broadcast fans, and the queues stretching back down the country lanes, there was just an airfield. A flat stretch of Northamptonshire countryside, still scarred with the runways of a wartime bomber base. Silverstone. On the 13th of May 1950, that airfield hosted something the world had never seen before. The very first round of the Formula One Championship. King George VI was there to watch it, with over 100,000 fans pressed in around the straw bales. And a home driver, Reg Parnell, stood on the very first podium that day, the first of so many British names to come. For more than 75 years since, this race has carried that weight. 11 British world champions have worn the crown since it all began, more than any other nation on earth. Clark, Stewart, Mansell swallowed by his own fans on the slowdown lap after that legendary pass at Stoke. Then came the modern era. A 23-year-old named Lewis Hamilton, soaked to the skin, winning his home race for the very first time back in 2008. The start of a love affair with this circuit that's brought him no less than 9 Silverstone victories. More than any driver at any circuit ever. No one can forget Jenson Button's fairy tale title that followed in 2009. And last July, Lando Norris added his name to this illustrious list of British drivers to stand on the top step of his home race. Because that's what a home crowd does. Ask any driver who's stood on this start-finish straight, drowning in noise and Union Jacks. It changes you. It always has. And with more British drivers on the grid this year than we've seen in over 20 years, and a crowd about to break every record this circuit has ever known, today we look back at the British Grand Prix. Hello and welcome to the Motorsport Files. This is episode 22 as we review the British Grand Prix. And if you caught the live that we did yesterday, you'll know I'm probably, and yes, I can confirm, still sulky. I've calmed down.
Just a little bit.
No, I have. Yeah, I've calmed down. I rewatched it back pretty much straight after, and I did look and sound pretty angry. So I have calmed down a lot since then. I'm still miffed because today, I think it was today, it's come out that there was a software glitch, an error that sent out the safety car message that told everybody that it was coming in. That was never the intention because they were following the rules, as it turns out. And they'd allowed everybody to unlap themselves. And after that, you have to do a clear lap. Well, that was lap 52. It was always going to be lap 52 at that point. So they were never, ever going to restart that race. I'm still miffed because at the point at which Verstappen went off, which I believe was lap 48, they must have been able to guess that. They must have known it would have taken them 2-3 laps to get the car cleared and allow everybody else to unlap themselves. Then you've got the time for the final lap, final safety car lap as well. They must have known when he went off that the chances were pretty high that race was never going to restart. So at that point, why not just red flag it, call it a day, and just,
Do you not think that then just makes more sort of chances of arguments? Because if you red flag the race, you've not completed the full race distance. So then people start getting into versions of the regulations to do with point scoring and things like that. I think it was a good idea that they just finished it under the safety car, and I think F1 themselves are probably quite scared just to red flag it or change anything. Think back to Abu Dhabi, to flog a dead horse. They were following the rules. It's not a problem. I mean, stuff happens in racing, and that's just what makes it so unpredictable. But well done, Leclerc. It's just a shame that Hamilton couldn't then catch Russell, which was always a possibility. But it happens, doesn't it, at the end of the day?
Well, this is the thing. To my mind, as a race director, you've got to look at that situation and go, we're at lap 48. We are at race distance pretty much, because in terms of the rules, you've got to do at least 75%. So at 48 out of 52, you're there. A racing incident had happened, and that had caused the safety car, at which point, just call it. You know, if they had have called it, Ferrari probably wouldn't have gone and pitted, which means that has affected the race result. In fact, everybody on the grid, even Sky and Channel 4 thought we were all expecting an extra, like, one lap shootout.
It would have been really cool, but I mean, I think everyone was just so hyped with, obviously, the issues with Antonelli that we'll get onto, and then the crash. I think everyone just wanted to see just a little bit more action, but I think that's just how people are. You always want a bit more. Yeah,
I mean, the crowd at the circuit were booing as well, because again, they were expecting it. I just think it could have been a little clearer. I mean, obviously, if it was a software glitch, then those things can't be helped. It happens. Fine, fair enough. But it's happened before where things like that have happened late in the race and they've just called it. I think I would rather that have happened. And this isn't, let me just clarify, down to the result. You know, it could have been Behrman, Alonso, and Hulkenberg in the top three. It wouldn't have made a difference. It's not about who placed where. It's about how they dealt with that situation. For me, I think they should have just called it. And as you pointed out rightly, that obviously they couldn't have just tagged an extra lap on, which was a bit silly of me to say. But I was in the heat of the race, to be fair. Understandably, you can't obviously do that. So the only real option. I mean, you said it already, you know, 21 has mired these sorts of situations for the FIA because they messed up so badly. I mean, it isn't Michael Massey anymore. So it's not like it's the same people that are involved in those end of race decisions. So it was just unfortunate. Bottom line, I'm really chuffed for Charles. I'm glad he's finally got a win under his belt. Yet again, Lewis has got another podium, I think.
He did get...
Now, I've just been reading something on the F1 website, and it's pretty confusing. On one part, it says he got a penalty for a yellow flag infringement, but then he still kept his third place. Did he get a penalty and still keep it because of the...
It was under investigation, and then he was cleared, basically. That's what I saw.
Oh, okay, because the article doesn't say that he was cleared. It actually kind of ensues that he got the penalty, and that was that. So it's...
Yeah, I saw a similar article. I think it was on Facebook, and it basically alluded to he was going to lose this podium, to which I then went straight to the comment section, and they were just everyone going, it's okay, he's been cleared, it's not a problem now. So that's all right. But one thing to point out about Ferrari, in particular Charles Leclerc, he actually said on, I believe it was Friday, that they will be struggling with their car for the next two races, one being Silverstone and then following the next one.
Yeah.
But power-hungry circuit, can't ever recharge. Ferrari's not got the best at recharging or the straight-line speed. And they did it. It was quite incredible, actually. I mean, Leclerc actually led the race quite comfortably, I thought. Generally speaking, he kept the pace. He was consistent enough that I think that lead was always going to be in the race, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there was never a shadow of doubt that Charles was going to win that race, with or without the melee at the end. Lewis, again, pretty good pace, all in all. He's still, I don't think he's quite there yet. He's still a bit struggling with the Mercs, with Antonelli in particular. Kimi Antonelli, again, a great performance. Slow start, again, from him, I thought. But he, again, in typical fashion, just powered through, made his mark on the race, and really should have at least been battling for that second place. Yeah, probably should have got second place, to be fair, if I'm honest.
Just a little bit of bad luck, though, isn't it, at the end of the day? I mean, Kimi's form at the moment reminds me of Kimi Räikkönen in McLaren. Like, fantastic driver, but he keeps breaking and random stuff happening to him. It's just quite unfortunate. But saying that, I think he's consistent enough that he can win this championship this year, despite the car having a little sort of ifs, buts and maybes of braking all the time. Because when I say all the time as well, obviously, in this modern age of Formula One, reliability is generally 100% and it all works fantastic. So if you get sort of 2 or 3 in one season, it does look like quite a lot, really, in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, I mean, it's never the same problem, which is probably a good thing. And this one was random, like really random. So Kimi went over a curb and it's either broken or dislodged. I can't quite work out which. The brake ducting on the front left, I think it was. It's basically come away from its mounting point and got wedged within the suspension and steering arms, reducing the amount of steering lock he had. That's why he was struggling. I'm still not
all the penalties.
Well, I was going to come to that. So he went into the pits a couple of times, and that must have been really, really stuck, because it can't be that difficult to remove that out of the. They could have just pulled it out and thrown it to one side and sent him on his way again. So I'm not quite sure the ins and outs of why it was causing such an issue, but bottom line, he couldn't steer. That then led to his track limit violations, which frankly are ridiculous. The whole point of a track limit violation is to gain an advantage. He definitely did not gain an advantage. He went from second down to the bottom end of the top 10, almost within a lap or two. Right? So that violation is ridiculous. That's, but rules are rules. It was like, come on. Bit of common sense, guys. Use your head. Use your brain. It's not rocket science. There's no point in penalising a driver that's on his way to the back of the grid because he can't bloody steer down to a mechanical issue. Ridiculous.
Rules are rules, though. If your car can't go around the track, it shouldn't really be racing. Like, if you had a bit of his front wing dangling off, it'd be the same thing. It's dangerous at the end of the day.
But, I mean, is that any different to a wing? To a wing end plate?
Yeah, true.
I mean, and they drive around with that all the time. I don't know how dangerous it was. He had some steering because he made it round a circular track, so he had some. So I wouldn't go as far to say it was dangerous, especially in the hands of a professional driver. There's sometimes I think, yes, rules are rules and rules have to be followed, otherwise it's not fair. But sometimes I think a little bit of common sense needs to be brought into play. It's like, what's the point in penalising the guy? He's clearly on the way out. What is the point? It's pointless. I mean, speaking of pointless penalties, Carlos Sainz. You heard about that?
No, I haven't.
Oh, you're going to love this. Right? Talk about bloody pointless penalties. So after Max went off and we had the safety car issue, one other point that we didn't pick up on during the live was that he unlapped himself during that period when he shouldn't have done.
He was down there like 17th, though, wasn't
he? Yeah. Well, apparently, according to the reports I've read, he shouldn't have unlapped himself when he did. So they gave him a 1 lap penalty. They added a lap on, effectively unlapping him to make it all right again.
I was just trying to prove a point at that instance, really.
It's just, and again, for a driver that's not scoring points, it's just let it lie. Have words with him later and go, well, you really shouldn't have done that, but it's not changed anything in the grand scheme of things, so it doesn't really matter. If you're going to start and change a race result like back in Monaco, that actually changes potentially the course of a championship, if you can do that, you can also do the flip side and just go, don't do it again, Carlos. That was silly. And leave it at that. Bit of common sense is all we're asking. Anyhow, let's go back to the start of the weekend, shall we? For what was a bit more of a sensible sprint and quali.
Yeah, I thought the sprint was very, very worrying because when I first watched, obviously, we had super clipping is back, yo-yoing is back. Let's all just repeat Australia. And I was terrified that was going to happen to the race and we're going to have basically terrible overtakes, rubbish racing. And it's just going to be, again, whoever's got the biggest battery and who deploys the best wins. And it's a game of chess again, which I'm really happy to say wasn't the case. I think actually the race itself was very fun, and for Kimi to win the sprint race and get pole, he's just on such good form. I mean, I think Mercedes have about 17 upgrades, which it's obviously got a very good car, and they are just incrementally making it so much better just to keep ahead of the pace of the rest of the pack, I reckon. Although I did read about Toto's comments for Ferrari.
Yeah.
Apparently Ferrari have got 32 upgrades compared to Mercedes 17, and he doesn't know where they're getting the money from. He's since said that it was just a bit of a laugh and a joke, not to be taken too seriously. But it does pose the question, actually, what point do they actually run out of money? And if they got enough? Because it depends, obviously, how much the upgrades cost and all this sort of stuff, but they must be getting closer to the actual limit compared to the rest of the teams.
Well, I don't think that's something we'll ever really truly know. And Fred has already replied to that as well, as it happens. I think it's smoke and mirrors. And if it is a joke, Toto's got quite a dry sense of humour anyway, so I don't think it's anything to really worry about, to be honest. I don't think they're any closer to the cost cap than anybody else are. I still don't believe we've seen the true ADUO upgrades that are yet to come. I think they are still coming, which I'm assuming comes with an additional cost cap for that as well. If you look at the performance of both cars, Mercedes were already quite far ahead at the start of the year. So for their 17 to, did you say 32 for Ferrari?
Yeah.
I think that probably brings about level pegging. And if you look at the performance on track, that kind of tallies.
Yeah.
It does kind of tally. So I think depending on what, like you say, what it's cost them, it depends what it is as well. I mean, it could be the smallest of upgrade, like redesigning like little winglets, for instance. That's just time in the wind tunnel, which they may already have done. They may have actually taken previous data. So they might not have had to go into the wind tunnel again. It could be old data that they've gone, oh, we can adjust that. And just, it's I don't know, a week on a computer by one of the guys back in the factory. It's probably not cost that much. And they're making carbon fiber panels all the time. So overall cost for that probably isn't massive.
Just had a thought, actually. So Mercedes probably are spending more money at the moment because their engine and stuff keeps going up, blowing up, and you have to fix to replace it. So that's all part of the cost cap as well.
Well, it is, but they've got a limitation like everybody else on the number of engines that they can use.
Yeah.
So, that brake duct is what it is. It could have been a bit of gravel, to be fair, that got flicked up and broke the brake duct, which dislodged it and caused the failure. We're at the end of the race, so that could be it. We've had a power unit failure, so they're already down one power unit.
And a
gearbox, so that's not going to get fixed. Have they had any other aero issues?
No, I think
what was
Antonelli on the aero side?
What was it? Engine last time round for Antonelli?
Yeah, it was in Barcelona, wasn't it?
Or was that gear? No, it was his gearbox, wasn't it? I think.
I can't remember now.
No, I can't remember now.
It's too long ago. I've slept since then.
And there's too much. Far too much has happened since then. No, I think they're probably about right. We're only sort of halfway through the season. Normally, teams don't get antsy until about 3/4 of the way through the season plus, especially if they've had a bad run of things, like Red Bull, for instance. Interesting. I mean, he just had enough. I mean, I felt for him. I was like, I don't blame you, mate. I really don't blame you. And I've seen some absolutely ridiculous reports saying, "Oh, that's him done." No, it isn't.
No, he's not done.
No.
He's just frustrated.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, I actually saw a report on Facebook today saying he was leaving after the British Grand Prix. He was leaving Red Bull after. Just some of the dross. No, this was an article.
Proper article.
Oh, yeah. Some of the dross that you see, it's unreal.
It'll get worse at the summer break.
Oh, will it ever? God. Yeah, will it ever? I think Red Bull overall, we mentioned it last time round, the upgrades that they brought last time round have made a huge, huge difference. Well, both of them actually, because Hadjar did really well too. I think they're both in the fight. Now, yes, they've had 2 Macarena wing failures in 2 races. I have read that they're thinking of ditching Macarena wing, going back to the normal older wing, at least for the time being until they can rectify what the issue is, which sounds like common sense, to be fair. So I'm expecting them for Spa to go back to the old style wing, which in all fairness, probably isn't a bad thing. That might even actually help them.
Can you imagine it being stuck open as they just go through a rouge?
Bye. Yeah. Although having said that, we don't know what a rouge is going to be like. And, is it going to
new regulations now, isn't it?
Is it going to be? And it's incredibly it's flat out uphill. At one point, you never lifted. Today, they might have to lift because they might have to harvest to get down the rest of it. It could be an absolute nightmare. It's been so difficult to try and pick predictions for Belgium, which we'll come on to, I know. But no, I think overall, their performance has increased a decent amount. I think they've obviously still got some way to go, much like McLaren have, but they're going in the right direction. Max is going to see that. And if they do swap their wings out, then it's not going to be an issue moving forwards, is it? Until they rectify that position.
Yeah, they'll just have a working win, basically. But I couldn't believe Hadjar's performance for Silverstone. Like, he finished 5th.
Yeah.
And he looks so comfortable in that car nowadays.
Yeah.
And it's really nice to see the sister team, the Racing Bulls, sort of keeping up, really. I mean, I know they always used to be the joke of they're the better team. I think that's now flipped and how it should be, Red Bull being like the better team overall. But Lindblad and who else is on there? Forgotten his name. Who else? Lawson. Yeah. Lawson. They were doing really well, actually.
I think overall as a team, I think they're doing superb.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely superb. I can see them with their trajectory. I can see them potentially challenging McLaren if McLaren don't move forwards after summer break. It's a consistent car. It's a pretty quick car, and it has been all year. And the drivers are doing a really good job on the whole. We've had a few bits and pieces with Liam Lawson, haven't we, getting in the way? But that might just that might just be communication between the team. It's nothing major. I think on the whole, I'm very impressed. And I really like Racing Bulls. I really do.
A few times.
Just a few times. I don't know why. I just do. I'm very impressed with them. I think it might be because it's another underdog coming good. And I like that. I like that kind of a story.
You should probably love Audi then, because Bortato had an absolute blinder of a race for Audi. I've never expected him to be like P8.
Yeah,
I know that they've been fighting-ish for P10, but I think part of it's media coverage again. You don't really see them very much, which is really annoying. Like, what happened to Piastri? I know he had his little issue at the start of the race and he just disappeared behind the Cadillacs again, basically.
Well, that didn't help, did it? He ran over, he got too greedy on a curb, broke the front wing end plate or Or did he? No, I think he actually just broke the wing on the front left-hand corner, totally destroying it, and which meant he had to come in, and it like dropped him down to the bottom of the field, and he didn't really do anything from there onwards, to be fair.
There's not much you can do. I mean, when you're pitting so early on, it literally ruins your entire strategy. And you basically have to then stick to your same strategy with that extra pit stop to affix the wing.
Max could have done. Lewis probably could have done, back in the day at least. I reckon they should have stuck a pair of hards on and just sent him out and just go for it. Just qualify and carve your way through. But again, if he's not got the power, I suppose, then it's not going to happen. There might have been other problems going on, but
I don't think Piastri is a good driver anymore. I think he's lost something compared to last year. He can win a championship if you got to give the right car and maybe the right teammates or someone that's not Norris. But I think he's certainly lost himself this year, especially. I know that obviously there was a lot of talk and rubbish about Max maybe joining McLaren, which Zach Brown has since completely shut down.
Yeah,
and said if he does want Max for a driver, but that's only if a seat was available at McLaren, and he's said there is not. He is quite happy with Norris and
yeah, that's true.
I'm rubbish today.
The drivers have both said that they're also happy at the team, so there's definitely no movement there. There's quite a lot of loyalty in that team. Obviously, papaya rolls aren't really an issue anymore because they're not fighting for the wins. I still believe in Oscar. I think he is there. He's not got as much to fight for, but I think he's just playing a waiting game. Look at last time out. He got a really solid fourth. So when the opportunity is there and things are working, he is capable of picking it up. I think Norris was back down in seventh for that race. So no, I think he's there. I think given the right set of circumstances, assuming the car's working well, I think he's more than capable. I think it's just because he's not in the forefront anymore, and he's not fighting for wins, and he's not on camera every 2 minutes. It possibly makes you think he's not trying, but I think he probably is.
Oh, speaking of which, actually, we forgot to mention about Norris on the sprint race. Really, really comfortable third, wasn't it? That was an absolute blinder.
Yeah, he went all in, didn't he, at the start? Full deployment. Let's just have it, see what happens, see how it all shakes down. And got a really good result out of that.
It was even gaining Hamilton originally, which I thought was incredible. Like that livery did wonders. I know you absolutely hate it, and I don't know why, because I think it's lovely.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I get why they did it. Yeah, all right. I'm generally speaking, you know what I feel about liveries, and I feel even stronger about specials. That seem to be out every other weekend. There's a new special.
Yeah.
No. It was bland. Because of the design of the car. It wasn't.
Yeah. It wasn't. Grand Prix, first livery.
Yeah,
back in the day when they had blank cars and certain colours for countries. It's great.
Bruce McLaren's car, yes. This McLaren car, not so much.
It's basically the same thing.
It's not.
Just 50 years apart.
Bruce McLaren's car, beautiful. Sleek, simple, purposeful. You can see the colours on the car because it's not covered in wings. Great. This one, homage at best. Sorry. You can slate me all you like, but I'm not a fan. Not a fan. Bring back papaya for me. It's hard enough to find.
Get the chrome back. Come on. I've been waiting years.
Yeah. All right. No, I'll okay. I'm with you on the chrome. I'm with you on the Vodafone chrome. Yeah. No, that's fine. But again, that was there. That's a modern McLaren. And that's fine. Absolutely fine. Yeah. Bring that back. I'm with you on that one. It was pretty close in that sprint race between the Mercs and the McLarens as well, as I remember at times. Seeing Norris fight with one of the Mercs, it's like, hello, have you maybe got this down after all?
Oh, did think, though, that I think they underfueled him, didn't they? He was shouting and said, "Can we not get anything right?" Very angrily over the communications. But I mean, he had enough fuel in the end.
Yeah. And it's just a typical race tactic. You shave as much as you can off. If that means slightly underfueling. I mean, I'm assuming he had just about enough fuel for the fuel test after the race, so it wasn't that underfueled. But it was just on the edge, which is exactly where it should be. Everything should be on the edge. Maximize everything and see what comes out. Right. The race itself. Let's have a quick recap of that, shall we? We've mentioned already that the Ferraris had a great start and a slightly slow one from Antonelli as well. Do we think that that's going to move forwards into Belgium and then Hungary, which are technically two really great tracks for Lewis, as it turns out?
Yeah, I think it'd be interesting to see, but I don't know. I think Lewis has been a lot more mature and reasonable. I think he knows the limits of the car, and when he's getting sort of P2, P3, he's not always aiming to win necessarily. That's in the sense of if he gets P2, he doesn't beat himself up about it anymore. He knows what he's capable of doing and is just a lot more settled. But I think, again, this is because he's got his new engineer there. He's got basically a new team behind him. He's really, really changing the culture. And it's doing wonders for both of them. Going on to the next few races, though, I want to say that Ferrari will do well. However, I think that Mercedes will have a proper kick up themselves and they will bring absolute game-changing form, be it strategy, couple of upgrades, or even just both drivers being so much happier in that car. I mean, Russell got his first ever podium at his home race, so that's really good. Something that we said he wouldn't do. We'll get on to that. But no, I think they'd be all right. But I want to see where Red Bull will do, because I think Red Bull will really come into the mix in the next two races. And I get the feeling they will split the Ferraris. So I think either Leclerc or Hamilton won't be finishing in particularly good point finishes. And because of the Red Bulls, I think they're going to make their life really, really hard, which I'm looking forward to, actually.
Yeah, make a bit of drama, right, won't it, for the race? With Lewis, he's granted only won the one race, but his consistency this year is possibly one of the best consistent drivers on track at the moment. And it's happened in multiple series across multiple disciplines before. A consistent driver can go on and win a championship. And if he continues to get a podium at every single or most of the races that are yet to come, he stands a really good chance of not just closing Kimi down, but potentially overtaking him and clinching it towards the end of the title. Such is the level of consistency that he's showing. I fully expect Hamilton to be on Belgian podium. I'm not so sure about Charles. I don't think he's quite got that consistency there yet. He did say he'd found something in the data, so maybe, possibly. Russell probably will be back again. I think let's face it, he was only on podium because of the events that happened right at the end. Otherwise, it'd have been nowhere near. So what we said in the last show, I think we were bang on. He just got lucky. He just felt lucky, which is fine. That's racing. He was there close enough to pick up the pieces when it did all kick off. And that's what you've got to do. So it's not a criticism at all for George. Honestly, he did exactly what he needed to do on a circuit he wasn't really performing that well on all weekend from free practice onwards. So he did a good job. He did all right. Red Bulls, you mentioned Red Bulls. Yeah, got to agree. I think they're going to be well in the fight, especially if they bring their older style rear wing, which should be a lot more reliable, a lot more predictable, and he's going to know it. So he's not going to have that, is it going to let go? So they're going to be well in the fight too. It should actually be a pretty good race, assuming we don't have energy starvation.
And we might have a little bit of rain, maybe. That always makes it interesting. Not too much, though.
It is Spa at the end of the race. Yeah.
It's one of Max's favourite circuits as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, a lot of drivers actually saying that.
Yeah, I must admit, it's quality. It is quality. I'd love to go home, and perhaps not the speeds they go through, but I'd love to go through Eau Rouge at that sort of like just hook one apex into another.
It'd be the last thing you ever do.
I don't know.
I reckon you'd bin it.
In what, a Formula One car?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, definitely. Definitely.
I love that. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. Because the car is all important. If you stuck me in, I don't know, a touring car or a DTM car or something.
GT3? I reckon you'd bin that as well. So should we just rank what I think of Drew's various driving styles in different cars?
So GT3 is tricky because there's a hell of a lot of power through only the rear wheels. And I'm pretty quick, but I'm nowhere near as quick as I used to be. And I don't think I'm racing driver quick. So if it did happen to kick out, it probably would spin me out, to be fair. I could sit here and be all cocky and go, no, I'd boss it. But people who know me go, don't be lying. So does
that mean that you and Lance Stroll have something in common?
No, because I could finish a race. I'd love a go. I must admit, I would love a go. It's never going to happen, but yeah, no, it would be maybe in a Formula 2 or Formula 2 or a Formula 4 or something like that and have a blast round.
You can pay for two-seaters, can't you? And you sit in the back and you get a professional driver. I'm watching on one of the cameras and this bloke, and every time he brakes, just straight down.
Yeah, well, even Kimi earlier on this year on one of the onboards, he was resting his head against the headrest around the corners. It's so hard.
Gets tiring after like sort of 20 minutes, and then the rest of the race you still got.
Yeah, well, you should see some of the exercise they have to do to strengthen the neck muscles. It's nuts.
I like the
hanging weights off them.
The 90s one where they just put the axle helmet on with like a string and just weights to go like that.
Yeah,
that's the old style.
Yeah, it's absolutely mental. Right, shall we do it then? Shall we do Spa predictions? So last time out then for the British, I put Hamilton in first, Verstappen second, Antonelli third, and two of those three DNF'd, which is not great. And in fact, two of yours also DNF'd because you had the last two in the other way around, didn't you?
Yes.
We're not doing well.
I've told you, we just need to start picking Stroll at this point.
Yeah, I know, right? Would you agree that neither of us score a single point?
Yes.
Yes. Or are we giving ourselves half a point or a point for Hamilton being in the top three?
We get. I suppose he's on the podium, isn't he?
He was on the podium.
Yeah,
again.
we both get a point, and we need to work through this point system at some point. But I think that's coming after the summer break, I believe.
It is. Yeah, we're going to start a whole new game where it's not just the top three. We're also going to assign points for fastest lap, pole sitter, and what was the other thing we were going to do? Oh, fastest time.
Yeah, and that way we can actually keep actual track rather than going, I think I win, I think I lose.
Yeah. We'll be putting this section out on socials as well as a sort of separate game. So if you feel like you want to join in and play, please do. You'll probably do better than we do because we tend to suck at it. But hey ho. Right. So Spa, possible chance of rain, great old school track, but does require a fair amount of power. We thought the same about Britain. Turned out not to be too much of an issue. So overall, they might be a bit slower, but it's not that big a deal. So my top three, or do you want to go first this time around?
Yeah, you can go first. I went first twice. You can go first twice.
Right, I will go first this time then. So in first place, I'm going to return to form. And I'm going to pick Kimi Antonelli for the win. He's shown himself to be incredibly consistent and bloody quick. And without the mechanicals, he's right there. I think he actually stands a pretty damn good chance of holding first place by the first hairpin. And if he does that, I think he's got the race. So Kimi first. I'm going to go Russell second, I think. And I'm going to go Hamilton third.
Hmm.
Yeah. I'm happy with that. I was toying with Max. I am fully expecting to have a new engine for Belgium. To be fair, I thought he'd have it for Britain. I'm really surprised he didn't, but the team obviously felt like the penalty wasn't worth it. So despite that, I can't quite put him in third. And Hamilton in that Ferrari has been so consistent all year. I think he's got to be in third. You never know. He'll probably come through in bloody second at this point. But yeah, they're my three.
So for my predictions, I had a brainwave. Stop thinking too much about it and just pick who I would think is kind of achievable with a bit of wishful thinking. It's back. I don't care. You're going to let me have this one.
Okay,
so,
go on.
In first place, I honestly think Russell. I think he's got good form. He's got the car. And I think he's got something to prove at this point. So, Russell for P1. I then have to pick Hamilton for second because I really want him to, but every time I pick him, something goes wrong. So we'll see how this ages, probably like fine wine, as always.
Yeah.
And then for third, I was actually toying with Antonelli or Verstappen. I think Verstappen might bring something to it. So I don't think Antonelli will go in the podium. I think it's going to be Verstappen for third. And he's probably going to crash. Now I've said that. So, bit of a weird wildcard one. Not too much thought or logic behind it.
So what did you pick? Russell, Hamilton, Verstappen? Interesting. I mean, Verstappen's a strong choice. He could do. He could surprise as well. I think it's brave not to have Kimi in that mix, if
Definitely.
I'm honest. But you never know. We might have another DNF.
Yeah. And I'm also thinking, if you do have Verstappen in second or third, and he's near Hamilton, they might crash.
Oh, you can't wish for that. No,
I'm not wishing for it. I'm just a realistic person.
Well, yeah, no, there is that. There is always that chance. I think that would be a great battle. That would be a great battle. We've already seen flashes of it this year already, just without the insane antics that we've seen in previous years. I'd love to see that go down to the wire towards the end of the year, actually, as in that battle continue for the rest of the season all the way through to Abu Dhabi. I think that would be so entertaining, especially if Kimi does walk away with it, because at least then we've got something to look forward to. Russell in first? It's possible. I see we've both picked Russell again, and we've both picked Hamilton again. So again, we're only split by one driver.
To be fair, I think at this point, I just want Hamilton to do so well. I kind of have to pick him. I've got the T-shirt. I've got the little figure.
Yeah,
it has to be done.
Yeah,
I think when it comes up to some more street circuits like Baku, maybe he might struggle a bit more. Maybe he won't be in my predictions, but going forward, I think that he will probably be in my top three for the foreseeable.
Yeah. I think for Baku, almost certainly, unless there's a very good reason not to, I will be putting Charles in there. Most definitely for Baku. Yeah. Okay, right. I think that's pretty much us done then, isn't it? Moving forwards, obviously, check out the socials at TMFPod23. That's at TMFPod23. That's on all major socials. And of course, the website at www.themotorsportfiles.com. We are also looking at doing another live as well moving forwards. What did we say? It might be Baku, actually.
I think it was,
that we mentioned. So keep an eye out for that too. Right, Zach, thank you very much for joining me again today.
That's
I
all
know
right.
how busy you are. I'm loving the new background, by the way.
It's good, isn't it?
I'm loving the new background. Yeah, I really need to get my arse into gear and get mine sorted.
Yeah, you've got your new picture up. That's all right.
I like it. It's very, very old. Do you know what?
Bundling your warm.
No, was I? Nice car, that Escort WRC. You don't see many of them kicking around anymore. Yeah. I wonder if that car's still actually going. Anyway,
subject for another time. Right, dude, I will speak to you later.
No worries. On the next one.
Thanks, mate. On the next one. See you later. Bye.